Welcome to Stitching with Cindy Botts. Today's project is a doggy advent calendar. How cute is that? When my sister gave me this here Christmas themed book, she said the reason she picked it up for me was because of this dog advent calendar. So I took some liberties and did some changing, but the inspiration and the doggy head pattern and the gingerbread template, those came from this book. And I do want to give credit where credit's due. So this is Santaland, a bright collection of holiday quilts and crafts. All right. And it's by Brian Gubb with Christina Diamond, Eula Lang, and Kay Spitzel. Now, I took a lot of liberties with this pattern from their pattern. I did a lot of changes. I did some construction differences. So let's talk about that first. Now, I happen to have a puppy dog who is a Labrador Retriever and a oh my goodness, and a Samoyed mix. And I do have kitty cats. So let's get her off of this. All right, come on, turtle. And so my puppy actually has a little different shade on his ears, but he is white with a little tan ears. So I did that change. Their puppy is all white. I also made my ears a little bigger. So I altered the pattern. I'm sorry, the kitty keeps wanting to be filmed today. I altered the ears by making them a little bigger. And, those are the things that you can change when you do a pattern. You don't have to keep it exactly the same. My puppy dog has a nice black nose and black eyes. So I wanted it to be more looking like my puppy Stanley. And I thought it would be cute, since it is Christmas, to use their gingerbread template for another project in this project. So that's what he has out of his mouth instead of the bone. Okay, so that's a couple of things that I changed. The other thing I changed was how they constructed their pockets. Now, I did my pockets in one long strip. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. They did their pockets individually. They did individual pockets. So a couple variations. I also did not put this border on. My sister and I decided we would just put a binding on it of a green that would go with this background fabric. That's the other thing I changed, is that I wanted a cutesy Christmassy background, and they had more of a plain background. Again, there are so many ways that you can make these projects your own. So let's take another shot of the cover. All right, and it's Santaland, a bright collection of holiday quilts and crafts. That's where the inspiration for this project came from. And again, want to give credit where credit's due. I did alter the pattern. I'm not giving you the templates, copyrights and things like that. But I will tell you the technique I used. Now, for the dog, let's start at the top. For the dog, you simply take the template and you cut out your fabric, making sure that you don't reverse it. Okay, now their dog was actually facing the other way, so when I did my template, I reversed it. I was fine with that. I like how it came out. All right, so you do want to be aware of that. Then you take a temporary adhesive such as 505 spray. You spray it on each individual piece. You tack it down then with that adhesive, and I pin mine even when I use the adhesive. And then you simply choose a stitch, a satin stitch or a zigzag in a matching color, complementary color, to sew it down, to applique it on your piece. Now, I used this pretty background fabric, and I have a piece of flannel in here. so that when I was appliquing this down, I was sewing through the background fabric and the flannel. Okay, so that's simple enough to do. It's just simple applique, no fancy applique, just a simple base. And then let's move on to the little pockets. Again, I did mine different than their technique. All right, now, oh, hi kitty. Now, you could embroider the numbers on. You could use glitter glue. I chose to run over to the dollar store and I picked up for $1.25 100 pieces of these felt numbers. I had the first row almost done when I realized it had stickiness on the back. You just had to peel it off. If they do have stickiness on it, you can try that, or you can use your tacky glue to tack them down. So like this number 5 I did with the glue, and then I realized they had a sticky back, so I went with that. All right, so there we have our numbers. Again, you could do it many different ways. Let's talk about the pockets. Now, I wanted my pockets to be 2 inches when I was done, okay, because that way the numbers fit really nice on them. So measure your numbers if you have pre-cut numbers so that you can determine the size of your pockets. I cut a strip 4.5 inches wide, and then I made a tube. All right, so here's the tube I made. All right, I just folded it over, ran a seam, turned it inside, right side out, and pressed it down and put a 1/4 inch top stitching on it. So with right sides together, simply make a tube, taking your 4.5 inch piece, and I cut mine with the fabric and turning it into a tube that is 2 inches, and go ahead and top stitching. So there you have your tube, and you have no raw edges. So now you're dealing with a strip of material with no raw edges. On the sides you still have your raw edges. Excuse me, on the sides you still have your raw edges. But for the pockets itself, the pocket bottom and top does not. Okay, so now you're going to want to tuck that end in and have it be underneath. All right, so that your raw edge will be underneath your pocket. So to make these, what I did was I tucked some of that under. All right, now I tucked under more than 1/4 inch, and